Fani Willis finally responds to the allegations about her and special prosecutor Nathan Wade getting a little indicty with each other, and she did so at her church on a Sunday. And we're going to hear what she says. She is blaming racism for all of these attacks, amongst other things, but the story comes to a head because the defense attorney who submitted the original allegations in the motion to dismiss the case, her name is Ashleigh Merchant, she says she's got witnesses who are ready to testify. And we suspected as much because this was a juicy motion alleging that these two had an affair or have an affair and use Fulton County Trump prosecution government money to pay him $1 million that then got funneled back over to Fani Willis and cruises and who knows what else. And so this story has absolutely shaken the entire Fulton County prosecution, as it should. And Fani came out and spoke for 30 minutes, but we're going to hit some highlights on what she said. The governor was responding to this saying, you know, this is pretty troubling here and hinting that there may be a probe, but we'll get into all of it. But first, here is what happened. So we covered the motion from Mr. Roman, and he is somebody who has been charged in Georgia under Big Fani's RICO case. He hired this attorney, Ashleigh Merchant, and she submitted a heck of a motion that we read through here on this channel. If you missed it, I'd encourage you to go back and check that one out because it was so juicy. The full filing is there, as though this attorney was kind of holding back. She was actually being polite, saying, look, I know a bunch of stuff. It's going to be very shocking and explosive, but I'm going to hang back a little bit so that we can be gentle with what happens here. She filed the motion. We have now hearings every Friday, I believe, in Georgia. And so the judge said that he was going to hold a hearing on these improper allegations soon. You see, here's a picture of Nathan Wade. The Epoch Times is reporting, saying that during a motions hearing last week, Scott McAfee, the Georgia judge, he indicated that a hearing on what one of the attorneys termed as the, quote, scandalous allegations surrounding the DA's relationship with Nathan Wade. Now, McAfee is holding motions hearing, every Friday for the next few weeks. And I did listen in to the last one last week, and it was not that interesting. It was a lot of technical stuff that wasn't really newsworthy. But what is this. Say Fani is prosecuting a bunch of people. Now, Trump and 14 other co-defendants have been charged. Now, earlier this week, the defendant, Michael Roman, submitted the motion that was very juicy. He alleged Nathan Wade had taken lavish vacations using state funds from Fani Willis, and he was getting paid a bunch of money. Now, during the court hearing, Steve Sado, an attorney for President Trump, he asked for the option to adopt the motion at a later date. He said, you know, I have no foundation for these scandalous and salacious allegations, says Trump's lawyer. He's like, man, that is scandalous and salacious. Whoo! No, I don't have any foundation for that, Your Honor. But I did read the motion, and he's like, whoo, my goodness. Now, the first of which was made public through a court filing. He said, look, I want to see the DA's response to this before making a decision about whether we want to, as Trump, adopt Mr. Roman's filing. The judge said, okay, I've got no problem with that. I'll let you hang on to that for a little bit. Now, the court, in the filing, Mr. Roman only cites sources, right, and does not provide much evidence of the relationship. Says, yeah, there's a lot more here. Public records are also in the story. And so you can see that's a little bit of the background there. So we've got a hearing scheduled for mid-February is when that looks like it's going to be happening. But the question is, what's inside the motion? And we speculated that Miss Merchant, the defense attorney representing Mr. Roman, that she probably has the goods. If you're going to be making a claim like this, you really need to be able to back it up. And so the question is, does she have the goods and can she back it up? So this is an exclusive report from Atlanta. It says an attorney, Miss Merchant, says that she has witnesses ready to take the stand over Fani's and Wade's alleged relationship. And that sounds juicy. Now, Channel 2 Action News from Atlanta has obtained new information about the court motion in the Georgia election interference case that alleges that Fulton County DA Fani and Wade have engaged in an improper relationship. The defense attorney who made those explosive allegations, Ashleigh Merchant, she says she told Channel 2 that she has eyewitnesses. Dun, dun, dun. The spokesman for the DA's office said the prosecution has won every major motion. That's weird because you lost the Harrison Floyd bond motion, pretty embarrassingly, actually. Like, we all knew that was the outcome. By the way, you guys have also extended 4 diversion offers to Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis, like the two masterminds of 2020. They were all over the TV. Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell got diversion deals. Sidney Powell's apology letter was like, I regret this case. Yeah, nice wins. Maybe if you got a prosecutor who was not making Fani with Willis, you'd actually have gotten some better plea deals for the government. But as far as I'm concerned, they're outstanding for the defense. I mean, they're not even convictions, so whatever. So the spokesman for the DA's office said the prosecution has won every major motion, no, and every appeal in the election interference case so far. And then came this motion, making incendiary allegations about one of the most prominent prosecutors in America. That is true. A defense attorney making a filing like this against a county attorney, that's a big deal. The county attorney has monstrous local power. A defense attorney has zero. Now, people who want to know what the lawyer they're making these allegations, they went to her, they said, Ashleigh, can you back this up? Like, is all this just nonsense? Like, what's up? I happen to trust our defense attorney brothers and sisters out there. So I had no doubts about this at all, but other people do. She says this, I would never have filed something like this if I didn't have multiple sources to corroborate, which is exactly right. That's my take on it too. When I was reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, she must have some serious material here. Otherwise, this motion's not coming out because the consequences could be devastating. If she doesn't have evidence to back this up, she files this, like her whole career could be over. This, this crazy whack defense attorney, her credibility, her legitimacy would be evaporated in Georgia. So we thought, yeah, she's got to have some serious goods. And actually the fact that she was so polite about it made me think that it's really something there. Okay. Like what, they have photos of these two? Are they like, frolicking in a dewy meadow, skipping around with each other, putting flowers in her hair? I don't know. So Ashleigh Merchant said about the motion she filed, I got witnesses. I would never have filed this if I didn't have multiple sources. Merchant also told the news that she has documentary evidence. She says, oh yeah, we look forward to litigating this motion in court where we can bring forward all of our evidence. Like the sound of that. Fulton County DA spokesman Jeff DeSantis, said that the office will respond to Merchant's allegations in court filings. They said, we look forward to addressing the matter. What do you think it's going to be? Fani's relationship is all personal business. It's all personal. Trump's an insurrectionist. Democracy. Merchant maintains, the defense lawyer says, she has witnesses who did not want to provide written affidavits, but they indicated that they would testify in court if they got a subpoena. Oh man. She said she's talked to former DA's office employee who believed it was common knowledge that these two were dating. Everybody knows this. He got her a Christmas present, man. DeSantis said as a DA's office employee, he's never heard of such a thing. So the spokesman said, I have no idea what you're talking about. No, he never heard such a thing. He says there's no common knowledge that these two are filing motions to discover each other. Now, Merchant said her client Roman is innocent of the RICO charges. She said Roman rejected an offer to plead guilty. Good for him. Yeah, to plead guilty to a misdemeanor. I wonder if it would have been a diversion deal like the other four. If they want an actual guilty plea conviction at this point in time, absolutely not. 4 out of the 4 have all taken diversion deals, are going to result in dismissals. So at this point, everyone else should get dismissals, like as far as I can tell, because Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell were 2 of the most high-profile defendants in the case, and they got diversion. So DeSantis said Wade had been paid $250 an hour for the work. During the hearing, former President Trump's lawyer said, I'm leery to move and adopt the motions that make such allegations without having a better understanding of the allegations. Yeah, and Scott McAfee said, well, my plan was to allow the state a full opportunity to respond to this. Look at this one. A filing by Jocelyn Wade's side. So that's Nathan's wife, ex-wife, whose home got wrecked by Fani and her Trump money, Trump prosecution money, dirty Trump prosecution money. Nathan Wade is a partner at his own law firm, but has also been employed by Fulton County's office since November 1, 2021 as an anti-corruption special prosecutor, earning almost $700,000 since May. Good money, man. May 2020, $700,000. I know public defenders aren't getting that. Now it alleges while earning those substantial sums, Nathan Wade, Fani's special prosecutor, has provided nearly nothing to Jocelyn Wade for her support and survival. Rude after that marriage. So a filing by Nathan Wade's side said, no, we have provided financial support and we continue to provide support. Now the DA's office confirms that some investigators at the office had recently been asked to sign confidentiality agreements, about matters that they're working on. But Willis did not know about it until we reached out to the office. Don't talk about our special counsel office meetings. You know, the standing meeting that Nathan Wade and I have, this is Fani speaking, that we have every day at 1 p.m. in my office with the blinds closed. Don't talk about those meetings, okay? We're doing legal work. Sure you are. She ordered the agreements retracted and clarified there is no new confidentiality requirement. DeSantis said the agreements had been requested by 2 supervisors in the office and had no connection to anything with Willis and Wade. All right, we'll see. All right, so that is the story. Witnesses in the house. And this is another story about Wade. Apparently, in his divorce proceedings, he's been held in contempt. So this story just keeps getting worse. And I don't like to troll around in people's divorces. You know, this is all personal stuff. But this guy is prosecuting Trump, and he is committing contempt in court, which attorneys are not supposed to do. Attorneys have a heightened duty to the courts. It's like, hey man, you're licensed to practice law in these courts. He's actually being held in contempt. So this guy is violating other judicial orders in his divorce proceedings, and we're supposed to be believing that he is full of integrity and above the board in the Georgia case. Is that the sale? Look at this. Georgia prosecutors under scrutiny in the Trump case. He was held in contempt last year from Politico. Now, special prosecutor Nathan Wade, who was recently accused of having a romantic Fani with Willis, disobeyed a court order in his divorce proceedings. Why would he do that? Is he hiding evidence from the court? That's weird. Now, just 3 days after Georgia prosecutors indicted Trump, one of the lead prosecutors in the case was in legal trouble of his own. The prosecutor Nathan Wade was held in contempt for defying a court order in an acrimonious divorce proceeding. What on earth? Wade, a judge in Cobb County, ruled had, quote, willfully failed to turn over documents about his income. Unbelievable. Including, his wife later said, income from his work on the Trump case, trying to hide that dirty Trump prosecution money. Now, this is amazing because it sounds to me like a judge issued a lawful order, give us your documents, and Nathan Wade thinks he's like above the law or something, you know? Which is strange because they kept screaming to us that no one's above the law. Remember that in Georgia? Which is weird. He got a direct court order and willfully failed to turn it over. You know, it's almost like he insurrected the courtroom, isn't it? The judge said do something and he said, I'm not going to do that. So he's interfering with the lawful operation of the courtroom. And he's held in contempt for doing that. Wow. So his wife said that, yeah, this is a problem. Now, Wade's divorce became abruptly intertwined when a lawyer from one of Trump's co-defendants brought it to light, saying the affair, now they say, who was not offered proof. Okay, you see how they're trying to like paper over this? Not offer proof. Well, do you guys really want to see it? Because when it drops, it's probably going to be pretty juicy, and we're not sure that you really want to see it. Now, a lawyer for Wade declined to comment. Now, even aside from this salacious allegation, the contempt ruling against Wade in August 2023, that's recent, man. Wow. Shows that he was fighting his own deeply personal legal battle. He was getting admonished by a judge, and he was helping run one of the most consequential criminal cases in American history, as this guy is breaking the court orders. He's leading the indictment against Trump. Now, Wade himself is a divorce lawyer. The website from his firm touts decades of experience handling divorce cases. And you know, when you're a lawyer and you get in trouble with the law, so like, yeah, my next question, we'll see if the article gets to it, but if he's under investigation by the state bar, why do you have decades of experience? Like, they'll look at that and they'll say, you should know better. So if a young lawyer screws something up, they'll say inexperience, you know, they'll give him a benefit of the doubt. They'll say, okay, this guy's got inexperience. He's new to the practice of law. They'll put him on probation, or we'll make him take remedial class, like put him on probation and go do this. Don't do it again and you're fine. But if you're somebody who's been practicing for a long time, they'll note that when they sanction you. They'll say, this dude has decades of experience. You should know better. So same thing's happening here. Why, if he's been handling divorce cases for literal decades, was he so quick to disobey an order? He has little experience, though, running complex, high-profile criminal prosecutions. Why he's a special prosecutor, no one knows. Another Atlanta divorce, we do know, because he's making, you know, bang bang allegedly with Fani. Now, this is bizarre, said Randall Kessler, an Atlanta divorce lawyer. He said the judge basically said, shame on you. Now, to actually be found in willful contempt, it's not a good position, said another lawyer. Not a place you want to be with the judge. Now, Wade joined Willis's team as an outside contractor on November 1st. The next day, he's like, man, I'm getting this Trump prosecution money. The next day, he filed for divorce from his wife, more than 24 years. Bye, Jocelyn. This Trump money's too good for me. See ya. I'm going to go hang out with Big Fani Willis now. She's got that Trump money coming into my pipeline, and I don't want to share it with you. Now, in 2 years since then, he's been paid $700 grand. He's like, man, I'm living good. And Scott McAfee said that they're going to hold a hearing in early February. The case still does not have a trial date. Now, the information that Wade ultimately did provide was so woefully inadequate as to be useless, the wife's lawyers wrote. Now, Wade, for his part, has provided all the required documents. Wade's lawyer also accused Wade's wife of being stubbornly litigious and dragging the matter out for no stated reasons. Well, she's probably a little bit upset about what's been happened here. On May 10th, Judge Henry Thompson, the judge who's overseeing the divorce, concluded that Wade had, quote, inadequately responded to his wife's discovery, ordered the prosecutor to turn over a host of financial documents. If Wade didn't comply, he's threatening contempt and sanctions. Now, 3 months later, the judge determined he hadn't complied. During the same week that Wade got an indictment of Trump, the judge issued an order finding him in willful contempt. If he wanted to avoid sanctions, he needed to deliver the material within 10 days. There's no indication that Wade was sanctioned, so maybe he delivered it. But over a month later, Wade's wife moved to reopen discovery, meaning she believed her husband still hadn't given her the information she needed. And the motion added, and all this has been sealed, by the way, like I have been trying to get these documents, but it's all sealed now. Why? She had just learned that her husband was working on Trump's prosecution. Says plaintiff has not produced one single document that evidences his income. He's not produced one single bank statement asking where those funds have gone. Oh man. So there's just a full-blown cover-up here. So on October 24th, the judge granted her motion to reopen discovery. Less than 2 months later, Wade's wife told the divorce court that she thinks he got $700,000 from the Trump money and that she's got nearly nothing. They said it's unusual. This lawyer says it's unusual for judges to hold people in contempt during divorce. That's because they give the party so many chances to comply. It's rare that it gets to this level. He says it's unlikely that Wade was scheming to keep his income from Trump cases a secret. That's because the work was so public-facing, also drawing national media attention until recently. It wasn't until all this came out. So amazing. Okay, so Nathan Wade, man, that's pretty brutal. Hey, sorry, honey, 24 years. I got a nice new gig though. Fani is giving me some nice money and they're getting their Willis on. So that's what's happening there. Now, Fani has finally come out and spoken about this, and she did speak for about 30 minutes. We're going to hit some of the highlights on this from Anna Bauer, and she's on X at Anna Bauer. She does work for Lawfare and covers legal events there. And this is a pretty big one because Fani, she attended a church at the Big Bethel AME, which is just incredible. Perfect location for Big Fani in Big Bethel AME. Now, in her first public remarks since this allegation, and here is what it sounded like when she was explaining this to her congregation and to the rest of America.
God, you did not tell me that people would call me the N-word more than they call me Fani. You did not tell me as a woman of color, it would not matter what I did. My motive, my talent, my ability, and my character would be constantly attacked.
Did you misappropriate funds for your lover or not? That's what we're concerned about.
You did not tell me that the people would think they required of me perfection and flawless. God, why would you send this imperfect and very flawed woman to that position? God, you did not tell me my home would be swept multiple times for bombs, or that most days and nights that I would spend them in isolation because that was the safest place to be. You forgot.
Isolation? Why did you invite Nathan over?
Not to mention, Lord, that I would have to abandon my home. You forgot to mention the loneliness of this position, and you certainly didn't tell me about this stress.
Okay, so stress and loneliness. Okay. She was driven into the arms of her special prosecutor because of the stress and the loneliness. And we're going to hear her say, by the way, that she's out here saving the world. We're going to get to that at the very end. But she says we're saving the world. All right, so here she is talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying her spirit is filled with hate. Here's Fani.
Dear God, I do not want to be like those that attack me. I never want to be a Marjorie Taylor Greene who has never met me but has allowed her spirit to be filled with hate. How does this woman who has the honor of being a leader in my state, how is it that she has not reached out to me? She can tell me, I don't agree with anything you're doing, but I...
Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene filed a criminal referral, because Fani and Wade were billing 24 hours in a day. We're also having meetings with the White House counsel, the January 6th committee, and all these things. So she said it should be investigated, and that's it. And now Fani's saying, how dare she come at me when she could have just, I guess, given me a phone call or something? Here's Fani.
I do not agree with people threatening your life or the life of your family. That is conduct that is wrong and intolerable, and as a leader, I shall not stand for it. How did such a woman come to think that it was normal and normalized that another woman was worthy of such cruelty. I would never wish for her to have the experiences of the threats that I received. Derogatory name calling, the being doxxed multiple times.
All right, so I'm sure Marjorie Taylor Greene never gets any names called at her and never gets doxxed. She's been swatted, all the same thing. It's the same thing, okay? Everybody's under attack. We got it. Here's Fani now, who says that she was also the target of a swatting attack. Okay, so she's very victimized as well. Listen.
God, you never told me that on Christmas night 2023 that I would get an emergency call from Capers Green, my chief of investigations. The police are surrounding your house. A man has called 911 and he said he shot a woman in the head. I am headed there. You never told me the pure, unimaginable fear as I believe my oldest child was dead in my home. I cannot describe, God, for you the panic and the terror and the fear I had.
I'm sure that's a scary thing. I don't ever condone doxing, swatting, any of that stuff. It's not appropriate at all. And it's happening not only to Fani because of her position, but it's happening to everybody around the country. You've been hearing this from everybody. People were having this all on Christmas too. Fani had it. I think many other people had it on Christmas, on the left and on the right. I mean, I think Judge Chutkan had it done. A bunch of people on the left are getting it. A bunch of people on the right are getting it. It's all over the place. So what does that have to do, Fani, with you misappropriating, misallocating funds to your lover, alleged lover?
Believing my child was no longer with me.
We're glad he's here.
I thank you, Lord, that it
Hopefully the FBI can figure out who's doing all these doxings.
all turned out to be a cruel hoax and just another day to steal my joy as I tried to celebrate you.
All right.
God,
So she's under attack there. Here's another one. Now she appears, according to Anna, to defend her hiring of the special counsel, Nathan Wade. She said, I also hired some white guys who also got paid differently, but they're just coming after Wade. I don't think it has to do with their race. I think it has to do with the allegations that you had intercourse with one of them.
But dear God, are you listening? Why does Commissioner Thorne and so many others question my decision in a special counsel? Lord, your flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect child, I'm a little confused. I appointed 3 special counsel, as is my right to do, paid them all the same hourly rate. They only attacked one. I hired one white woman, a good personal friend and great lawyer.
Did you have intercourse with her?
A superstar, I tell you. I hired one white man, brilliant, my friend, and a great lawyer.
Did you have intercourse with him?
And I hired one black man, another superstar, a great friend, and a great lawyer.
But did you have intercourse with him? We're trying to glean this out because you can hire people that are also friends. And we all want to know about the other 2. Are they more qualified? Have they ever handled a felony prosecution ever? And of course, the big question, how much did they get paid? Did they get paid $700,000 too? And did some of that money go to cruises for you, Fani, or not? Okay, we're not talking about the color of their skin. We're talking about the content of their character. She's not.
Oh Lord, they gonna be mad when I call them out on this nonsense. First thing they say, oh, she gonna play the race card now. But no, God, isn't it them who's playing the race card when they only question one?
No.
Isn't it them playing the race card when they constantly think, I need someone from some other jurisdiction in some other state to tell me how to do a job I've been doing almost 30 years. God, why don't they look at...
Okay, so I think it's racism, I think is now what this is now. So it's just racism. They're just targeting the black man, which I have a question for her. You know, I'm a little bit curious about her racist behavior. First of all, why didn't she sleep with a white guy? You know, why didn't they go on cruises together? I think this is reverse racism in action right now. And why didn't she sleep with the woman? Also, you know, I mean, if she's a boss, you should treat your employees equally. And she's only sleeping with one guy, which is totally not equitable. All right. So here's another one. Now, this was her saying, why is the white male Republican judgment good enough, but the black female Democrat is not? Okay, let's see what this one says. Says Wade has impeccable credentials. Let's listen to this.
Wasn't it them that attacked this lawyer of impeccable credentials? The black man.
He's never handled a felony case, ever. According to the articles, a prosecuted one, okay? So why are they giving him the most incredible prosecution in state, you know, case law, American history? It's a prosecution of a former president. It's crazy. So here she goes.
Man I chose has been a judge more than 10 years. Run a private practice more than 20. Represented businesses in civil litigation. I ain't done, y'all. Served as a prosecutor a criminal defense lawyer, special assistant attorney general.
He was a prosecutor, but he didn't handle felony cases? Is that right, Fani?
Won Chief Justice Robert Benham Award from the State Bar of Georgia. You know, they ain't just giving this to black men. How come God, the same black man I hired, was acceptable when a Republican in another county hired him and paid him twice the rate? Come on. Oh, y'all ain't.
Because that other guy wasn't sleeping with him, probably. And it was probably for a different job, not a criminal prosecution of a former president. I don't remember what that other job was, but was there another case where they prosecuted a president in Georgia? Maybe that's why it matters. And this is a criminal prosecution, so you get different payment terms in that case, in that area.
Hear me? In another county, the elected official has the authority to pay him twice the rate. White male Republicans' judgment, good enough, but the black female Democrats, not.
Because they're not banging each other, Fani. It's not complicated. Oh my gosh.
Now please hear me. I'm not criticizing his judgment. The people of his county elected him to make that decision. In fact, let me put it on the record. He's someone I respect because he was always willing to hire diversity. He was just looking for quality. I don't care political party. They care about it. My only question is, why is it questioned me? Lord, now I want to be clear. All three of these special counselors are superstars. But I'm just asking God, is it that some will never see a black man as qualified, no matter his achievements?
No.
What more can one achieve? The other two have never been judges, but no one questions their credentials.
Because they're not sleeping with you. That's why.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, so are we. We're just saying the same thing. We're just saying, first of all, why didn't you sleep with the other two? That's what I want to know. Not fair. Anna says, we got a couple more from Fani, and I think we're getting close to the end. 3 more she says, I'm as flawed as they come. Now, and one thing you will come to learn is I make sure everyone else is good. And she gets a little emotional here. Here's Fani.
I'm here to tell you something, and it may make some of y'all a little uncomfortable.
We're ready.
God's using ordinary people to do extraordinary things. I come real regular. In fact, when I meet people, that's what they say. Real regular. You don't have no airs about yourself. And I say, well, how can I? I come from regular folk. I ain't got no pedigree. I'm not a member of any of those elite organizations.
Like Harvard?
And one more thing. I'm as flawed as they come. But there is something special about me. It's my willingness to love people. I love people of every political party.
Like your special prosecutor?
Different viewpoints, different races, different sexuality.
Oh, wait, maybe we could get some little special counsel on special counsel action for the other two.
And one thing you will come to learn about me is I make sure everyone else is good, and sometimes I'm not.
Well, maybe another cruise will help, Fani. Maybe you and Wade should go on you should go to the Mediterranean. I don't think you've been there yet, so check that one out. Here is one more from Fani.
See, Dr. King was an extremely special, brilliant, godly man, but he was just a man. And his journey was full of mistakes, pitfalls, pain, and ugliness. Despite all of that, he overcame those things, and he changed the entire world. See, I know we are at a time of history when they want to throw away books and not talk about history. Some of y'all may have forgotten when Dr. King was alive, he was attacked for his stance on the Vietnam War. Some of y'all might have forgotten that scandal the FBI tried to do on personal indiscretions they alleged. Some of y'all forgot that.
Is she talking like she's MLK now? The FBI's trash, right? The FBI's been trash for years. Are they responsible for these allegations against her and Nathan?
But now that same FBI will take a day off to celebrate Dr. King because my Lord said he will make them your footstool. All the glory I receive, it's his glory.
All right, so that's Fani. I think she's kind of comparing herself to MLK. And this is our last one here, my friends. And this is where Fani says that she is out there saving the world.
All the glory I receive, it's his grace, not a perfect me. We are at a time in history, people. Hear me on this. We are at a time in history when you can no longer sit back and just let other folks do it.
Ooh.
You cannot expect black women to be perfect and save the world.
What?
The Lord is completing us. We are not perfect. We need your prayers. We need to be allowed to stumble. We need grace. With that kind of support, we will move mountains and do Jesus' will. Stumbling all the way. So his child has a message for each of you today. Please find a way to do your extraordinary, God-given assignment and make this community and the world a better place for all of his people. See, it is never about who you are. It is always about the great I am and who he is. See, we are all flawed, sinners, unworthy, imperfect, damaged, but we are qualified upon his calling. You can find common ground with people of all different ideologies if you simply commit yourself to being obedient and steadfast in your efforts and his work. If you commit yourself, God will turn your hard-headed self into the extraordinary for his kingdom.
All right, so that's the end of it. Very interesting speech there. Whole thing was about 30 minutes. I think we got about a third of it. And it is Fani Willis kind of sounds like to me almost accepting responsibility for it. You know, we're all sinners. We're all at fault. We all get lonely. You know, we all get a little stressed out from time to time. I think I'm under attack. And so I need a man to come over here with his firearm to come out here and protect me kind of thing. I don't know what's going on, but it is not really responsive to the allegations. We have questions about like actual money transfers and whether he was even lawfully appointed. Like the motion is very detailed. It's not just about these two are, maybe, doing the hibbity-dibbity in between court sessions or whatever. That's interesting, certainly. It is about the conflict of interest and it's about the corruption in the appointment and how they're extracting value out of this prosecution and how it really kind of jeopardizes their legitimacy in even being prosecutors in the first place. Actually, it goes to whether Nathan Wade is even lawfully appointed, is what the motion says, legally speaking, in addition to all of the other salacious stuff. So sounds to me like she's blaming, I think, racists ultimately instead of her own self, but okay. Now, this is the governor of Georgia, Governor Kemp. He posted this. He said that his office and the accusations are deeply troubling. There is Nathan Wade. You see him. He was exiting his law firm with that firearm handy. And apparently the governor described the accusations that Fani and Wade are, indicting each other. He called it deeply troubling. A spokesman, Brian Kemp, also indicated that Fulton County DA could face a probe by a special commission, over her alleged improper relationship. They said governor's office gave a statement to the Post saying these allegations are deeply troubling and the evidence should be presented quickly in order for Judge McAfee to rule and the public to have confidence in this trial moving forward. My gosh. Co-prosecutors were accused of having a clandestine relationship, lavish vacations, Florida, Napa Valley, the Caribbean. I'm thinking they should go to the Mediterranean next. Kemp signed a new bill last year, giving a new agency the power to investigate complaints against DAs and remove them. Wow. Misconduct in office can be a basis for removal. Kemp's spokesman told the Post that Marjorie Taylor Greene has the right to submit her criminal complaint. Of course she did. And Willis stayed largely out of public view until she came and delivered her sermon at church. So, my friends, we are going to be here waiting for the reply from Fani's office. We know we have a hearing scheduled for this one mid-February, and we'll see what she says in response. Maybe there's a perfectly good explanation for all of this, and we'll come back and we'll say, wow, we were dead wrong here. But I doubt it, because there's enough evidence here, and it sounds like Roman and his defense attorney, Ashleigh Merchant, they've got the goods, and we're going to be here continuing to cover this, my friends. And so, thank you for joining us as we do. No matter where you're watching this, I really appreciate it when you subscribe, and I really appreciate it when you share this show with a friend or family member, when you invite him to come on over here and join us. It really helps the show grow and reach new people. So thank you for doing that. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here on the next one.